Okay, now I'm going to finish up. I'm trying to get two of these so they don't take so long to process and get to you. Basic timeline of study circles is 6 to 8 weeks with meetings every 2 weeks or so. You have people sign up at the study circle, and you get them with a translator if needed, a facilitator. You make sure that's covered, and then maybe a couple of coordinators that know people in the community that can make calls if there's, to remind people to show up. So you try to get commitments to be in the study circle. There's some manuals about this. You sometimes get them in Spanish and English, but that may be about it. Have open-ended questions with these, open-ended. So you try to come up with a lot of questions, trying to cover every possible thing that might come up that people are concerned about. If the immigration rates slow down and packing plant closes, what will be the needs of Lexington in the year 2018? Okay. The baby boom is aging rapidly. Oh, thanks a lot. By 2020, over 30% of the city residents will be over 60. Oh, thank you. I don't even want to talk about it. Discuss the needs of your town at this time. I put Peoria on here, but it wouldn't matter. There are a lot of people here that are not documented. Illegal is the term. I don't use that term. How does this impact public safety in terms of a driver's license and insurance? But we've had some towns that forbid people that are illegally in the United States or without documents from renting. I'll let you figure out where that is. Step 6, we go through all these meetings. Second meeting, third meeting, fourth meeting. We want to cast out our nets. And we want to bring in as many ideas as possible. We want to keep careful records of what was discussed. And take votes at some of these meetings. So what do you think were the big concerns tonight, et cetera, et cetera. Do not argue with people and say, well, I'm concerned that you're biased or something and you need to change your attitude. That is not going to happen. People speak their means. Their mind. You hope they're not really racist or anything, or just mean to each other, cursing or things. There's a limit, obviously. People are going to be out of hand. There's not going to be a way to build trust. The facilitators try to see whether there are different groups that are diverse that have the same concerns. Examples here, maybe older people and immigrants are concerned about con artists trying to take advantage of people because either they don't speak English or they're old, and so they call them up on the phone and they scare them into giving their bank account numbers, saying, we're afraid you've got your money's being taken from your account, and could you give us your account number? People are taken advantage of often. Have people in the groups take notes and have large sheets, big sheets. And as the group is talking, you just write this up here. It lets people know that what they've said counts. You can write it in 2 languages. If you got somebody can write in 2 languages or 3. And then you have little votes, and you say how many people are concerned about a con artist. Is this a crime that's serious? Or how many people are concerned about theft? Or how many people are concerned about youth vandalizing or gangs or any of these things that might come up? Here's some important information on how to make these little groups work. One is make sure every time you have the facilitator phone people they're supposed to be in the groups and try to ensure that they're going to show up. You can't arrest them if they don't, but you want to get them there. Encourage people to ask other people to get a wider idea in their neighborhood. But you're concerned about this, so is that shared by other people? Always make a statement about how things are going and very positive. Usually a facilitator. What impressed me was having high school students learn how to speak in front of others, older adults, and work with them. They're in charge. This is hugely important in terms of developing leadership. And the young lady that you'll hear the audio interview with me from years ago, Brenda De Leon, she's married now, works in Colorado teaching at a dual language school. She and her sister. And it gave her such a boost, as well as other students. They came in and they were leaders. They were leaders, and they were working with adults, and Where else would that happen? Keep the meetings pretty brisk. You don't want to go 3 hours in a meeting. People will not come back if you drag it out. Don't let anybody dominate it. And don't you dominate it if you're a facilitator. Try to keep people to about 5 minutes if for their main argument, and then they may have other discussions. Keep track of the general trends. Let members see their ideas in print, so you write them up there. Do not evaluate or rip each other's opinions. You try to work with each other. And then you get to after you had these meetings, you do a finale of the small circles and you brainstorm and come up with some solutions, whatever the problems they come up with too. There's only one, but two solutions, only one or two may be proposed for a final large group meeting. Here's the deal. You cannot solve 5 or 6 major concerns. So you try to work on no more than 2 and make sure you follow through and you actually get something done on those. Otherwise it's a debating society and everybody talks and then it's all over. So remind participants to attend the final large meeting. And what they do, and this is cool, and I have this on the photographs, is that people get together and they present what their small group is concerned about. And they make the argument, this is what we're concerned about. Now, we're not going to propose a solution right now, but we're concerned about that parents do not know what's going on at the school. How can we improve communication between parents, especially obviously second language parents, and the school? But it could also be people that are very poor and work long hours in a meatpacking plant. They don't have time to go to teacher parent meetings. What can you do with that? So your solution may deal something with medical or the hospital, or it could be with the schools. It could be with the police. It could be with conflicts in religion, if you had such a conflict. Then you have the large group meetings, and you'll see pictures of this, and here it is. Here's one of them right here. And what we did is we made proposals, and we put them up on the board. And we said, this is what our group is concerned about. In fact, this is Dr. Jones, and this is Brenda De Leon, and this is me. I was a small child then. And one other lady, I can't remember her name right offhand. It'll come to me. And we put our big sheet up there, and we put all these sheets all over the wall so everybody could just see at the large group meeting. You said, this is what the small groups came up with. This is things they're concerned about. And then we also did the options in Spanish because we had Spanish speakers. So we wrote it in Spanish. Respect for the languages, very important. If people don't really know what the heck's going on, and we wrote up here, homework hotline, that was one of them. And we said we wanted, and this is before technology, obviously, it says that phone calls would be made so that all parents would know what their homework was for their kid. Okay, now you can do it online, So this has already changed. Pershing Elementary School, how can we improve? Is it Pershing Press Enhanced, updated? How to get information to parents. This isn't homework, but this is, we're going on a field trip. You need to sign up for this. A lot of people didn't sign up, didn't understand what was going on. What about the PTO? What about parent-teacher organizations? What about literacy issues? These are some of the ones that came up with. I don't think this was all of them, but this was several of them. And then people would go and read these, like the Great Wall of Ideas, and maybe some solutions are in there, but final solutions don't all have to be solved this way. The idea was to come up with 2 or 3 things that we knew people need to work on. That's what they're really concerned. So you finally get to vote. And then when you have your vote, you add it all up and you figure out what 1 or 2 items you're going to work on. And then after you do that, then you keep these study circles alive. You try to keep the concept alive so that people feel this is an option for them. And then you go on and publicize what you guys have accomplished. You're not done yet because you have to follow through. You have to have a group that's going to follow through with the school if it's dealing with the school or with the police or with whatever. And I put on here, it's just a machine. It helps establish things. What resulted from Lexington? Here we are. Establishment of an elementary school homework hotline. beginning a study circle group for high school students. So we actually wanted to train more people in it in high school, get more people. Another one was opening a welcome center for newly arrived immigrants and refugees. One of the issues was people show up in town, they don't speak English or they don't know anything, or culturally they don't know about Lexington or small town Nebraska. And the visitor's place was, you go there and there'll be somebody who can get a hold of somebody who can speak to you in your native language, especially if you speak Arabic. Not so much Arabic, but some of the Somalis speak a tribal language. Some do know Arabic, so they're kind of multilingual, but none of the languages are common here. But the idea is that Welcome Center still exists, and it also helps people a lot of other things. You know, once it came into existence and it was funded, I think maybe the Lutheran group in Nebraska helped with that, or other groups. But they had people there, and they could either help with, where do I rent a house? What are the rules here? They can ask all kinds of questions. If you get a car, do you have to get a license? What if I want to let my friend borrow my car? He doesn't have a license, but I'm sure he'll be careful. All kinds of things like that. Now, it depends. If you're in a rural area and the problems with pesticides, or the water's bad, or maybe it's too many chemicals around, or there's issues of personal safety, or you've got potential conflicts within people in the community, that'd be another set of solutions. Okay, I hope you will listen very much once you listen to Brenda's discussion, because she really gets into. I interview her on here, and it really is. It was one of the things, you do a lot of things in life, you think, I don't know if that's going to help. But the study circles works. They also have people can come and train you in this. I personally think it's worth it. I do think you need training. I don't believe you can just pick it up and figure it out. Because if it's kind of vague in your mind and you're teaching people about it, it's going to be really, they're going to say, you know what you're talking about here? You're looking for people of character, people that will follow through, and people that really have a love for the community. And you hope that that's what you're doing. You're building community. Thank you. I want you to have this before this class is over, because I think this is the most important thing. We can talk about all these things about different levels of cultural alienation, or being defensive, or ignoring people, their invisibility. There's plenty of problems in the world, but this is a possible solution, and it did work. Thank you.